Thank you for tuning in to The Truth with Trinity. I am your host, Trinity, and if this is your first time listening in, this cast is to talk about the issues that happen within the black community, different ideas and solutions to those issues. And I wanted to go right into my topic tonight. And my topic tonight is don't fall asleep with a stranger inside your home around your children. I don't know if you're like me, maybe some of you are, but you know, being a single mother, okay, divorced, and really just not having that family and friend support. If you're fortunate and you have, a support team, that is able to give you leisure time. It may not be often, but you have some time to yourself. To date, and if you go to work, you have support that's wonderful. If you have a loving husband, or anything of that nature, or maybe you guys aren't together, but you have a safe and responsible child's father. That's wonderful. But the message really goes to single mothers, and definitely those single mothers who lack support or may not have any support at all, and may not have gotten a chance to get back out there and make friends and build a social circle, a support team. Okay, I wanted to start off saying, hey, I remember when I was young, I didn't have any children. I would break up with a guy, take some time out for a break, and you know maybe date someone else. Um, and if a guy wasn't who he said he was, or um, something maybe that wasn't too great happened, while we were together inside the house, it hurt me, but there was no one else. And I'm making a point here, okay? Um, a lot of times, especially if, you got a divorce, or your child's father, you guys are no longer together. A lot of times as women, we can feel an urgency to get back out there on the dating scene. And, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you have children in the house, as a mother, things change so drastically. Um, and like I said, not having childcare or family for free weekends can really make it difficult to have free time to date again. Okay, after you taken a break. And I remember when my child was a lot younger than what she is now. I remember hearing some females telling me um, that you don't have any daycare. Um, just wait till she sleep. Wait till your children are asleep, and then have a guy over, and they won't even know that they're there. And one of the big things is about that is that even though your child is asleep, um, and children aren't always asleep, especially when you're engaging in adult activities. But I want to take a pause on that real quick, and I want to talk about just all the child abuse and the molestation that's happening in our communities with our children, especially as single mothers having to go to work. You may be dating a guy, and you haven't been dating him for a long period of time, and that puts a lot of pressure on you as a mother. I understand. um, Definitely understand. You may not have child care, and he's like, hey, I'll watch your child while you go to work. um, it's very important that we're very cautious as mothers, who we let watch our children. um, our children only have one childhood, And our goal should be to protect their innocence, because that's what we're protecting. We're protecting their soul. Okay? Things happen and we can't always be there 24/7. But as a mother and even as a father, when your children are out of your sight, they're out of the safest place, or should be out of the safest zone that they can be in. Okay, so when you're leaving them, especially with guys, even if they say they have children, um, it's really not a wise decision, especially if you've known this guy for a short amount of time. I mean, even if he's good to his children, especially if it's not the biological child's father. And I'm not saying that every guy is a bad character. I'm not. And yes, face it, there's some biological fathers that, maybe aren't fit to be fathers as well. But I'm getting to a point here. It's too many, of our sisters at times. And like I said, I know times get tough. But, leaving the children with men, that, it's just too early to do so. It's putting our children at risk, okay, for increased, like I said, increased risk for, physical abuse, molestation, rape, okay, and even homicide. And like I said, as a mother, it's our duties to protect our children at whatever cost it is, okay? And I know that it can seem kind of claustrophobic, like you're closed in as a mother, trying to get out. Like, hey, why do I have to stay, in the house every day with the children? I need to get a time to go out to club, or to go to the bookstore, or whatever it is, just adult activities. But sometimes, especially if you're in a position where there's not any support, or there's no friends, okay, there's a sacrifice and there's an oath we took as mothers to protect our children at all costs. And sometimes it's not always about the father leaving. Sometimes, I mean, the father may be deceased, or he may be unavailable. Okay, so it's not always about, a guy being a bad guy, the father anyway. But as a mother, we're first, the first line of defense as far as safety for our children. And sometimes we have to put, the things sometimes we have to put the things that we love down for a second. Okay, like I said, going out to the club, at the expense of our children. There's thousands of daycares out here, um, but no one can match your care that you provide for your child. Sometimes, like I said, you just have to sacrifice that. And um, and like I said, we can't live the way we once did when we were single. And I also want to talk about another thing, and that is, I know I'm speaking for myself, and I kind of wanted to, I don't know who this goes out to, but I feel like someone needs to hear this tonight. But um, let's get back on the wait till your children are asleep thing. So I know, some women out there have heard that before. So if you don't have daycare, you don't have family support, you don't have a friend to drop your children off with, wait till they're asleep, right? Okay, so you're on the chat line, or because that's the way a lot of people meet nowadays, right? You're on a chat line, you're on the internet, and you meet this guy that seems like he's cool. He's attractive. You talk to him for a few days, or however long in length that you've chosen to talk to this guy. You talk to him on the phone. Your hormones are raging. You're a woman, right? You have needs, and so you ask the guy to come over. It's 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, or whatever the case is. You're thinking the children are asleep, and they may very well be asleep. You may have a drink if that's your thing, or you may have a smoke, or whatever you do, right? So you're not totally coherent, is my point, okay? And then you may slip up and have a physical encounter with this guy, and a lot of girls will say, well, just put him out as soon as you get finished with having you know, with having, sex, just go ahead and just go ahead and kick him out, to make sure that he's not sleeping within the house. But as women, we all know that's not always the case. Okay? Especially after some good loving, you may pass out. Okay? All right? You may tap out. But my grave point is this though. If you're just meeting a guy off of wherever you meet, no matter if it's at a store or wherever, and you're asleep and your children are in the house, you're unguarded, is my point. You don't know if he went to the bathroom to use the restroom. You don't know if he's creeping around the house. You don't know if he's went into your children's rooms. Sometimes guys just leave, even if you're asleep, leave the door unlocked or whatever, but you don't know. And I'm not saying all guys are like that, but what I'm saying is, as a mother, you should not be closing your eyes around strange men with children in your home, with your children, okay? We have to really look at the significance of our children. And I'm going to be honest with you. Even if that means that you have to abstain from physical activities, because a lot of guys are not willing to understand that you don't, have any support to be able to drop your children off for dates. And as a mother, that's when the true test of time steps in. Okay? I'm not saying that you have to live like a nun. And like I said, especially if you have the support, you've got a friend, you've got family or one or two. But there's a percentage of sisters out here that they don't have any support, okay? And a lot of daycare providers, they rightfully so, but at the same time it's kind of tough, but they only want to watch your children, for business purposes, if you're going to work, if you're going to school. So as a mother, you may have to make some choices that some other mothers, don't have to make. Okay? You have to sometimes, look at the leisure time that you would like to have, and look at your child's innocence. Look at their life. Look at what you're protecting them from. Okay? Because, if you meet a strange guy and he does something weird to you, you're hurt, you've been violated, personally. But if you let the wrong man in your house and you don't know them very well, okay, we're talking about your whole family being violated. And once it's happened, especially to our children, there's no turning back from that. All they can do is heal from there, but the damage has already been done. So in retrospect, as a mother, we've definitely got to be strong. We definitely have to look at our choices and the selection of men that we choose to date. And sometimes it takes discipline, especially when you start getting out there and maybe being abstinent because there are no places that you can leave your children. And being abstinent takes a lot of courage, especially if you're a young woman. You want to date, you want to, you have needs as well. But sometimes the love of your child has to override your needs. And that's part of the sacrifice of being a mother. It's the unspoken sacrifice. And if you're out there and you're listening and you can feel where I'm coming from, much kudos, much respect, much props to you. Okay, for hanging in there for your children. Okay, even if other women sometimes they don't understand, you're the one, when everybody's at work talking about how they got their swerve on the weekend, and you're silent laughing because you haven't in a couple years or so, but you're doing the right thing. Until the right man comes into your life and he's proven himself and you've gotten to take the time to get to know him, that's the best thing you can do for your children, and one day they will thank you. And what we want to do is we want to promote children, okay, that are strong, that have a choice in life to not have the psychological damages that come along, with bringing multiple men in the home. Okay? We want to keep them safe so that they can grow up and they have a chance out here in life. And we want them to be happy. And those are some of the steps that we can take as women to make sure that that happens. Well, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. I hope you guys tune in again, and peace and blessings.